Today on Inside AB, we're here to find out if InterContinental Hotel Group's latest brand, Voco, can capture the attention of the Middle East hospitality market. I'm with Will Yell, who's head of Voco. Thanks for joining us, Will.
Thank you, John.
And you're watching Inside AB. So, Will, let's first get into the details. InterContinental Hotel Group's latest brand is Voco, and I'm going to say IHG from now on.
Yeah, that's right. So super excited to be here and super excited to be announcing today our first signing in this region, the Voco Dubai, so the Nassima Royal, which will be Voco Dubai, which is a huge statement for IHG in this region. Okay. And just to give you a bit of flavour about Voco, so Voco will be a brand that occupies an upscale price point for IHG, and within our portfolio, it will give and add more brands to our armoury in a segment where we've currently got Crown Plaza, a very well-established brand with a strong footing for the corporate business traveller.
Right.
Also, Hotel Indigo, which is a brand that's geared around a neighbourhood story, but provides a great platform for a mix of business, but skewed towards a leisure guest.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Now, you mentioned Voco will be upscale and informal. Why that particular sort of definition? Is it demographic related or is it socioeconomic related?
Yes, so let's tackle that in two. So upscale is for us is a huge market opportunity. So that's a segment that is around about $40 billion globally in terms of rooms revenue and is expected to grow by 50% in the next 10 years. And actually, if you look at our market share as IHG in that upscale space, it's pretty low today relative to some of the other segments where we've got a very strong entrenched position. Okay. So that for us is really at the heart of it. We want to be in the middle of what is a large and fast growing segment. Mm-hmm. So that deals with upscale. Then we think about informality. And it's interesting, we spent a long time talking to consumers in defining this brand. I think fair to say that at a company like IHG, we don't do brands lightly. If we're going to do this, it's a major investment by the business behind growth. So we've spent a long time talking to consumers. And what we've heard in this upscale segment may be best described by a little analogy, right? So we've got a whole raft of brands that compete in upscale today, and consumers struggle. They really struggle to pull them apart for what they stand for. So maybe think of it as bowls of vanilla ice cream, right? There are a huge number of upscale brands, the names of which we are all intimately familiar with, but it's very hard for a consumer to drive association to them. And what we've heard from consumers is there is a perception that with many of those brands, the experience can be quite formal, can be quite starchy, and actually in some cases there's an acceptance that that's just the way it is. In other cases, we hear consumers going, that actively draws down their mood. So that's the whole idea here, is something that is a little more informal, a little bit more inviting and welcoming, that helps put our guests at ease, be that for business, for corporate travellers, be that for leisure, or be that for social occasions.
All right, so easygoing but high end. We're going to get to some of the portions of what you said in just a bit. But you've mentioned Nassima Royal. Nassima is still relatively new, you could say. But I imagine like converting that would be faster to Voco.
Yeah, so we've talked about Voco as being conversion-led as a brand, and we see a big opportunity to take existing great quality hotels, of which the Nassima certainly is, and I've had the privilege of staying there the last night. So great existing hotel and providing a lift, both in terms of the identity, the look and feel, and we can layer that in with Voco in a way that is quite thoughtful and sensitive and easy to apply quickly. And likewise, a lift from everything that the IHG enterprise, our systems, our loyalty members, that we can drive to that property.
Now, there's a really nice restaurant there called Trace Inn, by the way. Are you going to also change the F&B outlets, or is that not? Are you going to think about that a bit later?
Yeah, so with Voco, we want to celebrate exactly what makes any hotel special and not smother it or look to change things too much. So at that hotel, I've not dined there yet. Maybe I'll try to tonight.
Oh, it's the best.
But that is, look, for us, if there's a hotel with a fantastic F&B outlet, it would be crazy of us to try and change anything like that. So look, we will look to incorporate all existing F&B components. The one area where we will be looking to implement is one of our hallmarks. So we talk about those as memorable moments for the brand. Okay. One of our hallmarks we call Voco Life, and that is about trying to activate the bar lounge, the bar space on property. So one of the outlets, the F&B outlets, will become Voco Life, will be our bar hallmark. And that's really all about trying to provide a space, a platform for people who are there on leisure, on social occasions, business travellers, to spend time, to dwell, to celebrate the reason why they're at a hotel. And we're going to do that through, in essence, a playbook, right? So this is about driving the best use of the bar space in the morning, which is more around coffee, productivity, pastries. The afternoon, which is more about the F&B and what we can deliver there, which encourages dwell time. So that might be more sharing plates. Okay. To an evening day part, which will be wet-led, will be drink-led, really trying to turn that into a sociable and vibrant space. So that's really what we're looking to try and do. And we think we can bring that to life in Nassima Royal, as with other hotels, through pretty targeted investment. So think a range of seating typologies, some investment in OS&E, so the glassware, investment in the menu and the drinks ranges, the dress code that we will have for our hosts on property, but very targeted interventions just to try and maximize that space for an owner.
Okay, and now very quickly, this is going to be your first property in Dubai, expected to come online sometime in early 2019, right? Where are you expecting to, have more conversions? Is it primarily in Dubai, or are you also looking at the rest of the GCC?
Yeah, so Nassima will be online trading as a Voco at some point in Q1 next year. So okay. To put that in context, it's a remarkable story we have at IHG, from defining a brand at the start of this year to launching a brand in our region in June, to signing our first hotels and having them open within the year. So Nassima will start in Q1. We've already got 2 open hotels, which just gives you some scale of the pace which we're moving at. And yeah, primarily we're looking for conversions. We will also do new build, as other conversion-led brands do, when the right opportunities arise.
Do you have an idea about what those opportunities are right now?
So we're in a number of conversations about opportunities within this region and the broader Middle East region. So watch this space. We expect to have plenty more news. It's, of course, with all hotel companies, the run up to the end of year, so it's a pretty busy time from a development perspective. But expect to have more news soon. And we've said publicly we expect to be 15 plus signings by the end of the year, which really gives you some intent, some scale of the intent. We are today at a position with 12 signings already, including 2 to close as part of a portfolio transaction in the UK. So we really have strong momentum. We see a huge opportunity for this kind of brand in this region. We see a huge opportunity for this brand in most parts of IHG's EMEAA region, so from the UK, Australia, Southeast Asia, this part of the world. We're really all guns blazing. Okay,
and finally, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about was, we've spoken to quite a few hotel operators, and they're saying that there's a bit of a war brewing on Sheikh Zayed Road, with luxury brands and hotels also competing in the same space maybe as upscale hotel brands, because they're depressing their prices to appeal to a broader market. You mentioned vanilla brands. Can Voco adequately stand out in such a crowded space?
Yes, so the compression, I think, is not ubiquitous to Dubai, and we see that in a lot of places, particularly in Europe and in the UK. Hey, our assertion is that we have a brand that is distinct and more memorable than other upscale brands, and is backed by the strength of the IHG system. So we are supremely confident about the ability of this brand to cut through in this market. This is something which is contemporary, is engaging, and most of all for us, it's kind of fun, right? It's trying to be more informal, it's unbuttoned, it's really trying to put people at ease. And we think that will appeal for business guests just as the same way as it will appeal for people on leisure. So you would expect me to say this, but I'm supremely confident about our ability with Voco to cut through in Dubai. And I would say that with the asset and with the owners that we have and their commitment behind that property, we have such a strong platform for growth in the wider region.
All right. Well, as I say, fortune favors the brave. Thanks for joining us, Will. We'll look to have you again for more news and updates as Voco continues its journey throughout the region. You've been watching Inside AB. Remember to subscribe and comment below and tune in tomorrow for the next edition of the show. Thank you for watching.